opening greeting for World News Greenty, your trusted source for fast, accurate, and unbiased international news. Here we bring you the hottest global updates, in depth analysis, and diverse perspectives on the world's most pressing issues. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story. Thank you for choosing World News Green Tea.
Today's domestic news: Russia-Ukraine war, India-Pakistan. Russia-Ukraine tensions. Following Ukraine's drone UAV attacks on Russian territory, especially Moscow and the Kursk region, Russia has responded forcefully both militarily and politically. Here is a summary of Russia's countermeasures. Military counteroffensive. Attack on Ukraine's Sumy region. In response to Ukraine's drone attacks, Russia launched strikes on the Sumy region in Ukraine, causing civilian casualties and forcing many residents to evacuate. Strengthening defense and territorial control, Russia shot down 126 Ukrainian UAVs in a single night, primarily over the Volgograd and Voronezh regions. Meanwhile, Moscow claimed control over 2 additional settlements in the Kursk province. Warnings and threats from Russian leadership. Statement from President Putin. Russian President Vladimir Putin emphasized that Russia has the capability to end the conflict on its terms and did not rule out the use of nuclear weapons if necessary, though he expressed hope it would not come to that. Comments from former President Medvedev. Dmitry Medvedev warned that Russia may strike unexpected targets in Ukraine to deliver a significant and surprising blow to its opponent. Enhanced domestic defense. Protecting Moscow. Following UAV attacks, Russia implemented additional defense measures in the capital, including deploying electronic warfare systems to intercept and redirect drones to prevent major damage. Diplomatic reactions. Condemnation from the Russian Foreign Ministry. The Russian Foreign Ministry denounced Ukraine's drone attacks as acts of terrorism and stated that Moscow reserves the right to carry out strong retaliatory actions. Key developments leading up to May 9, 2025. Ukraine's significant attacks on Russian territory. UAV attacks on Moscow. On the nights of May 4th and 5th, Ukraine launched drone attacks on Moscow. According to Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin, Russia's air defense systems shot down at least 19 drones. However, debris from the UAVs damaged a residential building and some infrastructure, resulting in the temporary closure of 3 major airports in the city. Attack on the Kursk region. At the same time, Ukraine launched an assault on the western Russian region of Kursk. Ukrainian forces used a pincer tactic, deploying mine-clearing vehicles and paratroopers to target strategic points near the villages of Zvano and Tetkino. The attack damaged infrastructure and forced around 130,000 residents to evacuate. Attack on a weapons factory. On May 1st, Ukraine conducted a long-range drone strike on the Murom instrument-making plant in Vladimir region, about 290 kilometers from Moscow. The plant produces ignition systems for Russian military weapons. The attack caused several explosions and fires, damaging 2 buildings on site. Naval UAV attack. In another significant move, Ukraine used a Magura 7 naval drone equipped with an AIM-9 missile to shoot down 2 Russian Su-30 jets near Novorossiysk in the Black Sea region. This marked the first time a naval drone was used to destroy fighter aircraft, signaling a strategic advancement for Ukraine. Ceasefire proposal in response. Amid these attacks, President Vladimir Putin proposed a 3-day ceasefire, May 8th, 10, to mark Victory Day celebrations. However, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky rejected the proposal, arguing that a short-term ceasefire would not guarantee safety and stability. He also warned that Kyiv could not ensure the security of international leaders attending the events in Moscow. Russia increases offensives in eastern Ukraine. Russian forces are conducting a large-scale offensive from the Kotlyarivka direction, approaching the Dnipropetrovsk border. This is part of a broader strategy to expand the front westward and pressure Ukraine's defense lines. In Konstantinovka, Russian troops employed a pincer tactic surrounding the city from 2 directions and making it difficult for Ukrainian forces to defend. Airstrikes and UAV attacks. On the night of May 5th, Russia launched a UAV strike on the Podolsk district, south of Moscow. Although no casualties were reported, the attack highlighted Ukraine's growing counterstrike capability. Earlier, on May 2nd, Russia targeted the city of Kharkiv with drones, injuring at least 40 people. These attacks are part of a broader campaign against Ukraine's infrastructure and civilians. Humanitarian situation and international reaction Russia's attacks have caused significant civilian casualties and extensive damage to Ukraine's infrastructure. The international community continues to condemn these actions and urges both sides to pursue a ceasefire and work toward a peaceful resolution. Recent UAV attacks by Ukraine have targeted key military and infrastructure sites in Russia. Basalt Defense Plant, Krasnoarmysk, Moscow region. According to the Security Service of Ukraine, SBU, Ukrainian drones struck the Basalt Defense Plant, one of Russia's key weapons manufacturing facilities. The attack caused at least 7 explosions and a large fire at the site. Airports in Moscow, Sochi, Kazan, and Kirov. A large-scale UAV attack stranded at least 60,000 passengers at major Russian airports, including those in Moscow, Sochi, Kazan, and Kirov. More than 350 flights were affected, with some delayed for up to 7 hours. Optical fiber plant in Saransk. Ukraine attacked a fiber optic manufacturing plant in Saransk, disrupting Russia's defense industry operations. Military and industrial facilities in Moscow and Tula. Ukraine also conducted drone strikes on military and industrial facilities in Moscow and Tula, disrupting airport operations and prompting Russia to tighten its security measures. Russia cancels Victory Day parades amid rising security concerns. Due to escalating conflict and growing security threats, Russia canceled several Victory Day, May 9th, military parades in sensitive regions, especially in Crimea. Parade canceled in Sevastopol, Crimea. The Russian-appointed administration in Sevastopol announced the cancellation of the 2025 Victory Day parade due to security concerns. Governor Mikhail Razvozeyev stated that the decision was made in coordination with the Russian Ministry of Defense. This marks the 3rd consecutive year the event has not been held in the city. The decision followed Ukraine's naval drone strike that reportedly destroyed a Russian Su-30 fighter jet near Novorossiysk on May 2nd. Heightened security in Moscow. In Moscow, where the main parade is set to take place on Red Square, authorities have implemented strict security measures. President Putin banned fireworks during the holiday to minimize the risk of UAV attacks. Additional measures include restricting mobile internet access and banning the use of drones to ensure the safety of commemorative events. International response. The cancellation of parades and heightened security measures reflect the current tense atmosphere and the challenges Russia faces in organizing major national events amid prolonged conflict with Ukraine. Russia claims to have intercepted multiple UAV and missile attacks from Ukraine in recent days. Moscow and surrounding areas. May 5th, Russian air defenses shot down 4 Ukrainian drones heading toward Moscow. Mayor Sergei Sobyanin confirmed no injuries or serious damage. May 6th, Russia announced it had downed 19 UAVs near Moscow. 1 drone struck a residential building, breaking windows but causing no injuries. May 7th, the Russian Defense Ministry reported intercepting 4 more drones approaching the capital. These attacks temporarily shut down 4 of Moscow's international airports: Nukovo, Sheremetyevo, Domodedovo, and Zhukovsky, disrupting hundreds of flights and affecting tens of thousands of passengers. Other regions. Kaluga region. Russia claimed to have shot down multiple Ukrainian drones in recent days. Bryansk region. The Russian Defense Ministry reported intercepting 17 UAVs in this area. Kursk region. Russia claimed to have repelled a Ukrainian attack, though this information has not been independently verified. Overall, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, in the past 24 hours, its air defense forces intercepted a total of 524 Ukrainian UAVs across various regions, though specific details were not disclosed. Rising tensions in South Asia. September 5th, Pakistan continues to attack with UAVs and missiles on Indian military posts in Jammu and Udhampur. September 5th, Pakistan continues to attack with UAVs and missiles on Indian military posts in Jammu and Udhampur. India claims to have successfully intercepted them, and there were no casualties. This ongoing conflict has highlighted the fragile nature of peace in the region, raising concerns for both national security and civilian safety. Current state of military engagements in Jammu and Udhampur. The region of Jammu and Udhampur has witnessed an escalation in military confrontations over the years. The geopolitical landscape is complex, with historical grievances fueling tensions between India and Pakistan. Historical context of Indo-Pak relations. The roots of the conflict between India and Pakistan can be traced back to the partition of British India in 1947. The partition led to mass migrations and violence as communities were divided along religious lines. Kashmir, a princely state, became a flashpoint leading to several wars and continuous skirmishes between the two nations. The territorial disputes over Kashmir have been at the core of Indo-Pak relations for decades. This territory holds not just strategic military significance, but also symbolic importance for national identities. Recent developments in Jammu and Udhampur. The recent uptick in the use of drones by Pakistan signifies a shift in warfare tactics, reflecting advancements in technology. Military experts believe that UAVs provide asymmetric advantages in intelligence gathering and targeted strikes, complicating defense strategies for India. Moreover, the regions of Jammu and Udhampur are critical as they serve as gateways for military movements and resources. Attacks on these areas increase the pressure on Indian defenses and demand quick responses to protect sovereignty. The political response from both nations. The political landscape in both countries greatly influences military actions. In India, heightened nationalism often colors the government's rhetoric and influences its military policy. Any failure to respond adequately can lead to domestic backlash, pushing leaders towards aggressive posturing. Pakistan, too, faces internal pressures where military success is often leveraged for political gain. The prevailing narrative around defending national honor becomes a rallying point for leadership and a reason for continued hostilities. The role of technology in modern warfare. The modern battlefield has transformed dramatically due to technological advancements. Understanding the implications of these changes is crucial for evaluating current conflicts. UAVs, a game changer in military strategy. Unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, have become vital assets for many armed forces around the world. Their ability to conduct surveillance without risking pilot lives makes them particularly appealing. In the case of Pakistan targeting Indian military posts, UAVs enable precise strikes with minimal risk of direct confrontation. This technology allows for greater operational flexibility. It provides a means to bypass traditional military fortifications, making defense more challenging for adversaries like India. Countermeasures. India's response to UAV threats. India's proactive measures include developing its own drone capabilities and implementing advanced radar systems to detect incoming threats. The successful interception claims made by Indian defense officials signal a significant investment in technological upgrades to counteract aerial threats. However, these defenses must continually evolve as opponents develop new tactics and technologies. Cyber warfare and information manipulation. Additionally, cyber operations play a crucial role behind the scenes. Both India and Pakistan engage in cyber warfare, attempting to disrupt communications and demoralize the enemy. Information manipulation through social media also serves to control narratives and sway public opinion domestically and internationally. The interplay between physical and cyber warfare creates a complex environment where each nation attempts to gain the upper hand, balancing offensive and defensive strategies. Implications for civilian safety and security. As military engagements escalate, the ramifications for civilians living in conflict zones cannot be overlooked. The situation in Jammu and Udhampur exemplifies how geopolitical tensions manifest in the daily lives of ordinary citizens. The human cost of conflict. Civilians often find themselves caught in the crossfire of military engagements. Whether through direct attacks or the resultant instability, the impact is significant. Reports of displacement, casualties, and psychological trauma reflect the harsh realities faced by those living near the contested borders. The threat of drone strikes introduces a new level of fear among local populations who may feel vulnerable without any immediate protective measures available. Economic consequences of military actions. Economic stability is closely tied to security. Areas affected by military actions witness disruptions in trade and commerce. Local businesses suffer, jobs are lost, and there is less incentive for investment in development projects. This economic strain perpetuates cycles of poverty and unrest, further complicating the resolution of conflicts. International response and humanitarian aid. International organizations and governments monitor these developments, but responses can be slow or inadequate. Humanitarian aid efforts often struggle against bureaucratic hurdles and security concerns, leaving affected populations without the support they need. As attacks persist, it is crucial that humanitarian considerations take precedence. Negotiations for ceasefires should prioritize the protection of civilian life above all else. The future of Indo-Pak relations. Possibilities for peace or escalation. Given the current trajectory, the future of Indo-Pak relations remains uncertain. It is essential to analyze pathways toward peace or further escalation, taking into account multiple factors influencing decision-making on both sides. Diplomatic channels and negotiation attempts. Diplomacy is often viewed as an ideal solution to conflicts, yet it is fraught with challenges. Efforts to engage in dialogue between India and Pakistan have historically met with skepticism. Building trust requires genuine commitment, transparency, and compromise for both parties. Furthermore, third-party mediation might be necessary to facilitate conversations when bilateral talks stall. The influence of global powers. Global powers, such as the United States and China, hold significant sway over the dynamics of South Asia. Their strategic interests often dictate international responses to regional conflicts. When major powers intervene or express support for one side, it can embolden nations to adopt more aggressive stances, thus escalating tensions. Grassroots movements for peace. Despite the prevailing hostilities, grassroots movements advocating for peace continue to emerge. These initiatives foster dialogue among communities directly affected by conflict, creating spaces for understanding and cooperation. Engaging young people and marginalized groups in conversations about peace can help build a foundation for a more stable future. The voices that advocate for reconciliation must be amplified to challenge the dominant narratives of conflict. Conclusion. The ongoing military confrontations stemming from September 5th, Pakistan continues to attack with UAVs and missiles on Indian military posts in Jammu and Udhampur underscore the fragility of peace in South Asia. The dimensions of this conflict span historical grievances, technological advancements, human costs, and diplomatic challenges. As both nations navigate these complex interactions, the quest for lasting peace necessitates a multifaceted approach that prioritizes dialogue, mutual understanding, and humanitarian considerations. The calls for collaboration and goodwill reflect the desire of many for a stable and prosperous future in the region.
Thank you for watching World News Greeny. We truly appreciate your time and support. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with others, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more global updates. See you in the next video.